Gentlemen, it is the show you've all been waiting for. Please give a thunderous round of applause and make some noise for your leading ladies.
Progress is impossible without change. And of course, change is inevitable in life. One of the things that can tend to hold us back the most is fear, especially fear of change. So what are you scared of? And what are you going to do differently to embrace change so that you can grow and realize your dreams?
I just think it's so important to stay authentic and find your real true self. And once you align yourself with your authentic self and set goals and values, that is when you can become successful. But success will not run to you. You have to go out and find it and be successful on your own. Love you guys.
I believe that I represent what it means to not have age as your limit. My career really truly began 27 years in at the age of 43. I believe that everyone has something inside of them they do better than everybody else. You are good enough and worthy of what those doors will open and bring to you.
So do you ever ask yourself, what does it take to be a leading lady? It takes a lot of perseverance, a lot of courage, a lot of hard work. And you need to learn the word no, because no does help you along the way. And you need to be willing to take the constructive criticism. It'll be the best gift you ever receive.
One of the biggest questions that I'm asked all the time by peers in the community is, how did you get your start and how did you get to where you are today? And we're going to be sharing that as part of the Leading Ladies team, sharing all the stories, all the secrets, all the ups, all of the downs. So please join us to be inspired and to help you get your jump start on the career path that you want.
As the founder of Leading Ladies, it's my absolute privilege to bring you these amazing, inspiring women to empower you to become the best leader. So we are so grateful for the support of the whole industry behind Leading Ladies.
All right, we are about to get started. Ladies and gentlemen, these women have applied their artistic and business savvy experience to position themselves as leaders who have truly made a mark on the hair and beauty industry. They are empowered female industry icons who will take the stage together to share their personal story, career journeys, and business tips. Yes, my friends, this is the year of the woman. From their wardrobe to their attitude, they exude pure confidence. Ladies and gentlemen, please make some noise for the Leading Ladies. She's a mentor and guest artist. She coaches hundreds of beauty professionals and is a recognized brand ambassador. Her talent and expertise is absolutely outstanding. Please welcome to the stage, Michelle Parget.
No, come on, I'm not.
She truly is a thriving entrepreneur and a dedicated educator. Nicknamed the Bali Lama, she leads an academy, a salon, and a manufacturing company. Please welcome Candy Shaw.
Thank you.
Well, she's a professional speaker, a global educator. She has presented to over 500,000 stylists worldwide. She is the producer of Leading Ladies and a 2018 Hall of Fame recipient. Please welcome to the stage, Tracy Hughes.
All of the people around us, they say, can they be that close? Just let me state for the record.
She is a creative color artist, a salon owner, and a digital influencer. She is a huge inspiration to the next generation, a global brand ambassador, and an internet sensation. Please welcome to the stage, Larissa Love. Well, ladies and gentlemen, she is a TV personality, a lead stylist on Project Runway. She is an inspirational editorial stylist. Please welcome celebrity hairstylist Jennifer McDougall.
To get our share of this world's delight. High hopes we had for the future.
All right, well, let's begin by getting to know each and every one of these leading ladies with their backstory and how their journeys all began. We're going to start with Michelle. Michelle, what influenced your decision to pursue hairdressing, and what was your initial vision of your future?
My mother had a hair salon from the time I was young, so I grew up in the industry. And I don't think she wanted me to be a hairdresser, but it's really all I ever wanted to do. So I worked my first 5 years for her. And I will say she was probably harder on me than the rest of her team. But I now, in hindsight, look back and I appreciate that she taught me work ethic and how not to feel entitled. So, working hard is really the basis of success. So I'm thankful for that.
Amazing. Candy, you grew up inside a salon with a legacy from your father. So how much of your childhood influenced you to want to become a hairstylist?
Well, actually, really all of it. I don't really think there was anything else for me but hair. I'm actually dyslexic, and I used to cut hair in the locker room of my high school and trade for math homework. And it was the only way I could learn to be an entrepreneur. You know, when I was a little girl, my father used to have all these amazing, iconic people in our home that would stay when they were doing shows and things in our town. And I was really blessed to break bread with some of the industry greats. My mother was a makeup artist. My father was a competition hairdresser for 60 years. He just retired. And, my whole life was about hair. I just don't know why more people aren't hairdressers, to be honest, because it is really the greatest industry on earth. You go to work, you sell happiness for a living, and what greater reward is there than that?
Wonderful. Well, speaking of which, Tracy, you initially had goals of becoming a lawyer, yet you chose to do hairdressing instead. Why the change of direction, and how did those close to you react to your decision?
That's a really great question, Sean. One of the things that I learned very early on in life was to trust my instincts. And when I was at school, I was very fortunate to be a grade A student. And so my headmaster, my parents, my careers teachers all encouraged me to go down the path of law. So I applied to go to university to do a combined degree in law and politics. Can you imagine, compared to hairdressing? And then one day, literally, I woke up, trusted my instincts, and said, I want to be a hairdresser. And of course, I'm sure you can imagine the reaction I got from everyone around me. I was told that I was too smart to be a hairdresser and that I was throwing my life away. So that made me even more determined to want to have a really great career. And I can say, hand on heart, 30 years later, it's the best decision I ever made.
Yay.
Wow. Well, Larissa, I'm sure you very much feel the same, because your family were not too supportive of your aspirations to become a hairstylist. How did this push you to pursue hairdressing, and how challenging was it putting yourself through beauty school?
I think many people have struggled with that. Their parents wanted them have a real career, right, quote unquote. And my dad said, this is just a hobby, it's not a career, you should go get a real job. So when I told him I wanted to become a hairdresser, he was not helping me at all whatsoever, financially, emotionally, none of that. So it was a struggle, but that struggle really wanted to push me, and it did push me, because not only did I want to push for myself and challenge myself, but also prove to my dad as well that not only is it a career, but an amazing career. We change lives with a few hours of making people, make them look and feel beautiful within a couple hours. What other job can do that, right? And now my dad is like, wow, maybe I should have became a hairdresser. So I took his negativity and turned it into something positive, and it really just pushed me to do the best that I can, and now I am where I am because of that. So I'm thankful thankful for my dad not believing in me, because look at where we are now, right?
Wow.
Yes.
Jennifer, you come from a small town in Canada, and now you're based in the Big Apple, the big city, New York City. How did your humble beginnings shape your career aspirations?
Well, I think it makes a difference on who you associate yourselves with. I'm sure you'd all agree with me on that. When you put yourself out there and really just take a risk, it's scary, but it's a lot of times very worth it. And for me, when I wanted to move to New York, I didn't really tell very many people. I had a lot of fear in my own heart. So I didn't tell anyone, and like 2 weeks, I put my notice in after I had my apartment. I took 4 suitcases, left my boyfriend, sold my house, got rid of my car, and I just took a chance. And I didn't know all the answers. So for anybody here who wants to take a chance, know that you don't have to have everything all figured out in the beginning. Just go with it, take that moment, and make it yours.
Thank you.
Good advice.
Well, all of you ladies have had business success, so we would all love to hear your best advice when it comes to business building. And we're gonna start with Michelle. Michelle, in your opinion, what do you think it takes to become a great hairstylist, and how important are communication skills compared to technical skills?
Well, very important, along with many other qualities, but I believe that passion and perseverance are the 2 biggest precursors to success, and most people quit just before they reach success. We all make mistakes, a lot. And what we see, especially with social media, is the success that people have, but what you don't see is the non-successes. And most of us are afraid of failing, especially failing publicly.
Yes.
That's like a huge fear. I had to overcome that in order to reach where I am at now. I really believe that if you understand that your failures are your lessons and you learn from them, and you become a different version of yourself, a better version of yourself. And then as your life progresses, you become more passionate for what you do.
Candy, managing different personalities and generations takes tactic when employing staff. So what do you think are the key factors when managing a team of creative beings?
Well, you have to hire smarter than you, and you have to be okay with that. And you have to make sure that you just continue to surround yourself with people who are going in the same direction. I often say that I hug and I spank. I have high expectations for my staff, but I don't lead in front of them, I walk with them. I really do love Gen X and Y and all the millennials, and you know, they get a really bad rap. I just turned 55 this year, and you know, I look at all of those folks, thank you, not so bad. But anyway, I look at all those folks as great inspiration for me. I think it's also having 2 ears and 1 mouth. My daddy used to always teach me, use them in direct proportion. You need to listen twice as much as you speak. And so I always listen with intent to learn. So when I am managing our people, I listen to what they have to say and what they can bring to the conversation. And, you know, also just making sure that you empower people to be the best versions of themselves.
Yeah.
I think managing people with your finger is the wrong way to manage people. You know, you got to have an attitude of gratitude, and what gets rewarded gets repeated. So as a leader and as a salon owner, I'm always making sure that I'm cheerleading my people at all times on the good that they bring. But then with all that good also comes anticipation for things that we can always improve on. So I end every single day with my team asking this question: what was your takeaway from today? And each of us has to come up with a takeaway of what we would have learned and what we can improve on for tomorrow. So I think making sure that you get in the trenches with your people is important, but more importantly, of course, leading by example is one, but also just teaching people to be their own self-manager. I don't manage people. I mean, that's impossible. You must teach people just how to be their best versions of themselves. And when they do that, you'll always have a great culture.
A lot of great tips. A lot of great tips. Tracy, question for you. You were a salon owner in Australia who built a highly recognized brand So what were your biggest learnings, and what do you think it takes to run a successful business?
No one ever said running a business was going to be easy. I'm sure many of you here that are salon owners would totally agree with that comment. When I first established my business, there was no manual out there or way of learning on how to grow a business. So I kind of did it the hard way. I was a new immigrant into Australia. I did my training initially in England. I chose to go to Australia on a one-year visa and stayed 25 years. And that's why obviously I have a little bit of a muddled accent now, I think, as well. And I established my business after being a new backpacker in a new country. So I had no financial support, no emotional support, but I knew what I wanted to achieve with the business was to build a brand. So for me, it was all about creating a really strong team culture. Very much what Candy was just talking about as well. My culture was all driven through education. So if I'm going to give you some advice, guys, today, I would say there's 4 key things that it takes to run a business. And that's sales, because let's face reality, we're all selling something. Education, because that drives your culture and it drives the motivation. Your team, because you're nothing without having a great team around you. And as the team leader, you're responsible for keeping that motivation alive. And then lastly is systems. And that's the one we tend to neglect the most, is the systems. But the more you can systemize your business and the more you work on the business as opposed to in the business, the more growth and success you're going to have from a productivity level as well. So I would say ultimately after 18 years of running my business in Australia, I chose to sell it to move over to the US, now based in Los Angeles. But I would say after 18 years of being in business, there's been a lot of very valuable lessons. But I'm going to take it back to the first comment I said. The most valuable lesson is to learn to trust your own instincts as well.
Thank you. Larissa, with so many stylists now self-employed, statistics are stating that over 50% of the workforce are going to be entrepreneurial. So what advice can you offer regarding building a personal brand?
Well, a personal brand is extremely important now if you want to have a successful business. Now with hairdressers being oversaturated in social media, you really have to make yourself stand out. And that is how branding is all part of that. So first you have to know who you truly are within yourself. You know, that's coming from your personality and your style. The other is your work. What kind of work do you want to showcase? And being consistent within that. So I can show you an example of just me. My branding is, you know, first of all, my outfits. Like, people know me, my hats and my platform heels. I always wear that all day long. Like at the airport, even coming here, I'm always wearing this type of clothes because that's who I am. That's what I branded myself within myself. But then my work, I showcase my work. I have, you know, color melts that are blended, my signature waves that I always finish off with all my clients. So when you look at a photo on my page, you can see that it's my work without my work having to be watermarked. Just with Guy Tang, that's branding. And being branded is by being consistent within your work and within who you truly are, and stick to that.
Jennifer, you have built a celebrity clientele, and you're an expert in editorial styling. So what is your advice to stylists wanting to enter into the session styling world?
Well, my suggestion would be to find out other people that are doing what you would like to do, and you could reach out to them and see if you could possibly assist them. And that's a great way to move in and actually like open up that opportunity. You'll learn and you don't have to have the responsibility. And then another way is contacting agencies. A lot of agencies right now will take on new people for their assistant list, and if there's a big show coming up, that's another great way to get involved.
Awesome.
Thank you, ladies. Now, ladies, I want to get deep and personal with each and every one of you here. We're going to start with Michelle. We all face some struggles in life. However, you have literally faced death head-on and are proudly a cancer survivor. How did you keep strong mentally throughout this difficult period, and what was your biggest lesson this experience has taught you?
Oh, that's a loaded question. So here's where I get emotional. I belong to an exclusive club. I'm a 2-time stage 4 cancer survivor. Thank you. And when people ask me, how did I get through it? So I believe in science, I believe in medicine, I believe in my oncologist's ability. He was amazing. But I also believe that when we talk about manifestation, when I was told I had less than a month to live 6 years ago, I allowed myself to think I was dying for one day. And then I decided that I wasn't ready. And I have 4 children, 2 grandchildren. My youngest was 6 when I had my first diagnosis, and I wasn't ready to leave her behind. So I decided at that moment that everything I did every day was going to lead me to being healthy. So I found something good in the days. And don't get me wrong, it was really shitty. It was not fun. But every day I found something not only to be grateful for, but to laugh about. For instance, I spent a lot of time in bed. I couldn't even walk without a walker. And I was very bald, obviously. And my little daughter would lay in bed, and she'd take all my colored eye pencils, and she'd draw pictures on my bald head. And I'd wake up, and from all these naps I'd have, and there'd be like prints on the pillowcase. But those moments, I will remember for the rest of my life, because those little moments is what kept me going day to day. And I think we all are going to face difficulty in our life. You don't get through life without it. And old age isn't a guarantee, but you're alive today. Today you are sitting here. You woke up this morning. So no matter what you've gone through, the traffic, the problems, you're here. And you have to do something with that every day. Aww. Thank you.
Candy, how do you juggle the commitments of running numerous businesses, and what is the best advice you can offer on how to find and maintain a proper work-life balance?
Oh my gosh, well, I have no microphone, so, there I am. How do you have, that's a great question, work-life balance? Well, I had to learn a long time ago the ability to say no. No does not mean never. No just means not right now. No can mean maybe later, right? So for me, it was just the ability to say no to certain things and to make those choices. I'm on the road every single weekend. I'm in the classroom. I'm in the salon. I'm still behind the chair as well. And I know what I have to do to keep myself balanced. I just celebrated 30 years of happy marriage with my husband this year, and I'm very proud of that because I managed to always know, how to put us first and how to put my family first and how to put my faith first. And those things really matter to me. I'm not perfect at it, but I think the thing that I do is at night when I come on the road, I know when it's time to go to bed. The after party, that's going to be awesome, but you're probably not going to see me there very long. Simply because I know what I have to do to get the sleep and the rest, to take care of my body, to take care of my mind, to take care of my soul, and to take care of my spirit. But also, too, I think giving back is something that allows me to feel balance. I always give with my hand up and with my hand down and not my hand up. And that's something that always really helps to fuel me, is love and is giving back and helping my fellow hairdresser. And with that, it all rolls into one great day of balance for me.
Tracy, you have faced some personal health challenges, yet you always remain extremely driven, traveling around the world, helping others through education. What can you give when it comes to staying positive? What advice can you give?
Well, positivity is very much a state of mind. And I believe we all have a purpose behind what we do. So if you find true passion towards something, whether it's hairdressing, whether it's education, whatever it may be, you always need to come from a place of wanting to be able to contribute, to be able to give back. So my particular career has been very much traveling all around the world, educating many people. And that's always been driven by a desire to want to have a purpose behind what I do. Because I know by giving to others that I'm going to grow from that experience as well. Now, we all face challenges, as Michelle's shared with us, and there's many things that we face on a day-to-day level. And I've personally lived with a health challenge since I was 12 years old, when I had my first epileptic seizure. And I can say hand on heart that I'm a very confident person naturally, and I don't have any fear of change. I don't have fear of being thrown in the deep end. What I do have is two big fears in life. And my first fear is standing on stage in front of thousands of people, just like you guys, and having a seizure on stage. I'd like to think if that happens, my girlfriends here would help look after me, and you guys might think I'm just doing a new dance or something instead. Kind of got to have a little laugh about that. My second fear is having a seizure on an airplane in a confined space. And I never thought that would actually ever happen to me. And it happened to me 3 weeks ago on the plane in New York. And I can now say that I've faced my biggest fear head on. And I'm very grateful for the support that I received when I was on that flight. And the one thing that living with epilepsy has taught me, the same as what Michelle has said, is to be present in the moment. Because I know every time I go unconscious, I may not regain consciousness again. So it's taught me to stay present in the moment and to be just grateful to have every breath that we take. So thank you, Michelle, for sharing your story, because it's exceptionally heartfelt, and I'm glad I managed to control my tears.
Yeah.
You could cry enough for all of us, so thank you for allowing me to share that.
Larissa, we have seen how social media has shaped the future of our connectivity. So how do you deal with the haters and the negativity online?
I think haters is such a funny word, and if you guys don't know what it stands for having anger towards everyone reaching success, okay? So I just want you to know, whenever you have anyone commenting on you that is hating on you, you're doing something right, okay? And they're projecting themselves onto you. So I always respond with love, and they never respond back because they're shocked at my response, because they think I'm going to respond with something negative. And you know, at the end of the day, if you have haters, you're doing something right, so keep doing you. Do not change yourself, because you are successful and they are seeing that, and you are going to be right where you want to be. Just keep doing you.
All right, Jennifer, it takes courage to follow your dreams. So what words of encouragement can you offer to those who have some personal self-doubt, and what advice do you have for them to become confident?
Well, we all have self-doubt, right? I'm sure there's many times, even throughout the day, we thought something in our heads, and that little voice that's talking to us, we just need to keep reaffirming all of the positive things. If somebody gives you a compliment, it's for a reason. If you keep hearing the same compliments over and over, go with that. That must be something that you're really great at. I talk to myself a lot. I write down my goals. I share them with people who I feel will help me to grow. And I think those are the most important things for me. But if you can think it and dream it, you can absolutely do it.
Amen.
All right, ladies, I want to change gears just a little and talk about progression, the future of the industry, and some hot tips. We're going to start with Michelle. You have morphed throughout your career, yet you remain true to being an artist. So what advice can you offer those searching for new inspiration?
Well, how many people here have been doing hair more than 20 years? More than 30. So I was 27 years in at 43 running a very successful salon, and everything on the outside looked like success, but I was miserable. And the reason I was miserable is I had forgotten the thing that I became a hairdresser for, which was to create. I had forgot to be creative. I was so busy running a business and paying bills and managing that the part of me that was the most important, I let it go. So when I first started doing photo shoots, I found that I got over the fear of what if I don't succeed, because what I realized is I might not, and that's okay. But I started to tap into that part of my brain that was creative again. It's a muscle. You have to use it. You really do. You have to practice it. And I know that everybody has somebody in their life that has said something to them that they carry with them as a voice in their head. It could have been a significant other, a sibling, a parent, someone who bullied you in school. I mean, face it, we're all creatives. So high school may not have been the best situation for everyone. But those voices, you carry them with you, and they keep you from succeeding because you believe them. You believe them telling you you're not good enough. And when I first started back into being creative, what I realized is that talking over those voices makes them go away. So the best thing I can tell you to succeed is, I don't care how long you've been doing hair. I don't care how old you are. I don't even care where you live. I'm from the burbs. I'm a single mom from the burbs. You can succeed because you have it inside of you. You just have to be willing to do the work to get there.
Candy, with so much experience in the beauty industry, what do you think it takes to keep longevity and to stay relevant?
Well, I think you just have to wake up every day, put your best foot forward, look around you, see what others are doing, bring in whatever energies they're putting into the universe, and just live each day to the fullest. I mean, I think it's kind of cliche to say, where does a trend come from, or where is inspiration? Inspiration's all around you. Inspiration is the last person. I'm only as good as the last person I teach. I'm only as good as the last person I had a conversation with about our industry. And so for me, just to be inspired comes from everywhere. It comes from every walk of life, not just in hairdressing. But I think also just keeping in mind that be your best self and not worry about what others are doing. I think that's what you were just saying about going out and doing a photo shoot. Be willing to fall flat on your face. It feels good sometimes to get up and tighten your bootstraps and do something different. I mean, fall down, because if you have no falls, you have no balls, and you have to get out there and fall. You have to push yourself to that level and fall.
That's a good one. I like that one. Tracy, as the founder of Leading Ladies, I understand your mission is to lift women up in our industry. So what changes would you like to see happen now within our industry to help drive future sustainability, particularly when it comes to leadership roles?
So Leading Ladies was launched because of the fact that the industry is over 85% female. And I would love personally to see that we get more opportunities in leadership roles, particularly in the corporate field. A lot of the decision makers do tend to be male, and a lot of it is because most of us women perhaps have families as well that we need to balance. So when we talk about future sustainability in our industry, I think education is the key to that. I think it's also about the generations working together. So whether you've got longevity of people who've been in the industry for numerous X amounts of years, and then younger people in the industry that have got greater reaches. You know, you look at the panel that we have here today. All of these women are selfless educators giving back to our industry so much. We have so much different areas of expertise sitting here on this stage. And we have different generations coming together and working together as well. So it's really about creating a community of support for all of us to help each other grow, so that ultimately it increases the consumer perception of our industry. Because at the end of the day, our job is always going to be about consumers that come into all of our salons. And if our industry can be seen as a service worth paying for, and a career worthwhile having, then that to me is the ultimate as far as longevity in our industry.
Well said.
Larissa, you have built a highly impressive following online. So what is your #1 top tip for building a business using social media?
I mean, there's so many tips that I can give out, so just one is really hard. I give a lot of thanks to Instagram because I would say 99% of my clients are from Instagram. And the beautiful thing about social media, especially Instagram, is that with one click of a button, the whole world can see your work. You know, so I think the #1 thing that I can say is be consistent, post daily. Videos are also a major wow factor because if you just post a beautiful photo, yeah, it's beautiful, but they didn't see all the whole mess that you actually had to create and transform. So when you post a video of before and then an after, has such a more of a wow factor, and when you're consistent, you're gonna slowly build a following, and with followers, you're slowly gonna build a clientele and fill up your books.
Thank you. Jennifer, your career is still growing rapidly, so how do you intend to pave the way for the next generation and lead by example?
Well, I think one of the things that I like to do by leading of example is just showing that there's so many different ways that you can live your life as a hairstylist or in the beauty industry. And that's something that all of us here have done. There's more than one way. And the other thing that I love to give back is any hairstylist or makeup artist or beauty pro that ever wants to contact me, I answer everyone's messages. And I'm always your cheerleader to help you along the way. If I don't know the answer, I have a full team and many other people that I may be able to resource and help you. So that's my goal, is just to help people not only in classes that are big presentations, but then one-on-one through those little Instagram and Facebook messages.
Awesome.
All right. Okay, last question for you, Tracy. All right, this is the last question for Tracy. Why did you start Leading Ladies, and now it is creating huge momentum? What future plans are in place to support our community further?
So when we decided to do Leading Ladies, Candy was the very first person I went to pitch the idea to. Yeah. And she was like, I love this concept. And basically, we got together, chose a few names of great women in the industry and said, let's just give it a go. Let's do an event, didn't we? And so we brought together this inaugural panel that were fabulous women. And we had such great success from the first event that we did. We kind of went, let's take this all around the world now, and let's bring together even more amazing women. So we've had, I think, close to 30 different women on our panels in so many different regions, all across the United States. Of course, this is our very first one here in Canada.
Yay! Finally.
I know, finally. And then we're also going to Europe and Australia, so we're taking it internationally. The objective of Leading Ladies is to give back to you, to each and every one of you. For you guys to realize that it doesn't matter where you're at in your career or your life. We all go through the same challenges. Absolutely. We can all learn from each other. So we just want to create a community of support, which we believe the industry needs right now. So the future of Leading Ladies is exceptionally bright. We will be doing a lot more events, and we will be looking at launching a Leading Ladies mentorship program as well, where you can have direct access to all the leading ladies that have been part of this great movement. So I just want to take a moment to give a massive shout out to ABA Canada, because this is the first event here in Canada.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you your Leading Ladies. We've got the lovely Michelle Parget, Candy Shaw, Tracy Hughes, Larissa Love, and Jennifer McDougall. Ladies and gentlemen, give the Leading Ladies a thunderous round of applause. of applause to your leading lady,